As we learn statistics, we're going to want to learn how to use statistical software. One type of software that we will be using in this course to analyze data for our basic business statistics is called Microsoft Excel. This video is a brief introduction to Excel and will be followed by other very specific tutorials showing you how to use the product. And the first thing we might ask ourselves is, should you use Microsoft Excel for statistics? And the answer is maybe. Microsoft Excel is great with categorical data. It is very good at creating charts and graphs and doing some simple analyses, all of which we're going to explore in this course. Microsoft Excel is also a good skill to have for employability. If you are going to be in the business world, or quite honestly in any field, it's good to have some basic spreadsheet skills. And so by the end of this course, you will have a skill set that you can use and apply no matter what career you go into. On the other hand, Microsoft Excel is not always the best choice for doing statistical analyses. Many of the analyses are rather limited. Historically, some versions of Excel had some problems with the way they handled integers and decimals, and that's more than we need to go into for a course like this. But it's important to know that the current version of Excel has fixed a lot of those older problems. The thing that makes Excel cumbersome for using in statistics is there is so much to remember. Other programs that we learn have pre-packaged analyses where we enter data and ask the software to run a specific analysis. With Excel, you many times have to know every single part of the analysis that you want to conduct, and it will be done over multiple cells. I'm going to give you examples of Excel spreadsheets that you can use to do different types of analyses, but I think that you will find that there are other options for doing hypothesis testing that will work much easier than Excel. One very common solution when using Excel for statistics is to attach some kind of add-on that adds to the functionality of Excel. The one that we will be using is Excel Miner Analysis Tool Pack, and I will show you how to install that later on. Now, as I said, this is an introduction to Excel. I'm not going to be showing you the actual program, just a few snapshots or screenshots of the software. Here is what you will see when you open Excel for the first time. It's this blank set of boxes. This is called a workbook. The workbook can consist of multiple worksheets. At the bottom of the screen, you will see tabs. You will start with sheet 1. If you click that plus sign, you could add sheet 2 or sheet 3. You should think about these sheets as being pieces of paper overlaid on each other. You can see one at a time, or you can flip one over to look at the next one. And you would do that by clicking on the tabs at the bottom of the worksheet to move to tab 1, 2, or 3. The worksheet itself consists of a series of cells, which is one reason why Excel is called Excel. And every cell has a name. Those names are based upon the column letter and the row number. We see data in columns being represented by A, B, and C, and data in rows being represented by numbers. The confluence of the row and the number is a particular cell. We can enter two types of data into a cell. The data could be numeric, which we will call values, or the data could be text-based, words, which we will call labels. When we use Excel for statistics, we're going to want to reference specific cells. Now, a single cell can be referenced by its column letter and its row number, but we may also want to indicate multiple cells. To indicate a column of data, we would start with the beginning cell, A2, and end with the ending cell, A4, separated by a colon. When working across rows, the starting cell A2 and the ending cell C2, also separated by a colon. Or we may want to refer to a block of cells called an array, in which case we start with the upper left cell, A2, and the end is the lower right cell, C4, indicating an array of cells. The real power of Excel is the use of formulas and functions. A formula is something that you could type yourself. In cell A2, we have the number 29 as an X value. To square that value, I could put my cursor in cell C2 and type equal sign, because formulas and functions always begin with an equal sign. Reference the cell A2, followed by caret 2, indicating square this value, giving us the number 841. When I want to analyze multiple cells, this is where functions really shine. They also begin with an equal sign, and they are already built into Excel. So for instance, I want to get the sum total of a number of cells. I would type equal sign sum A2 colon A4, and that would give me the total of the values in those cells. Anytime we use a formula, we must have arguments to that formula. Those are contained in parentheses. Not every formula requires an argument, but every formula requires the parentheses. We will use a function rand, R-A-N-D, which does not require arguments to create a random number, but still does require the parentheses. And now that we have these basic ideas about Excel, we can begin to look at some specific tutorials about how to use the program more efficiently for statistics.